James, and the Fruitful Day opens with Percy being late to the station, and James is fucking pissed at him.
That's no excuse, Percy. Nothing should stop us. Sir Topham Hatt relies on us to be on time.
Did I mention that I'm the asshole at the show yet?
James heads to the harbor in order to fetch some fruits because it's market day, bitches! With his fruits in hand, he boasts to Thomas about how much of a reliable, useful engine he is, and how not Percy is. So Percy is shunting cars and pulling weights until the station master tells his driver that James's brakes had break. And so Percy comes to help. Percy arrives and mocks James for the situation that he's in, and then Percy grabs James's cars. But, unknown to Percy, the switches for the rails were broken and switched on the wrong tracks. Percy ended up crashing into a crate that's on the rails, and all the fruit goes all over him. So Topham Hatt isn't really mad at Percy, given how it technically wasn't even his fault. But he's mad that the food got everywhere, so yeah. Cut to the shed, James and Percy feel bad. Thomas tells them to cheer up, you old bastards, and then they're like, okay. It's Christmas time! Halloween starts tomorrow. This episode has Thomas promising to give all the villagers some nice Christmas letters, but then a big old storm hits that night, and the next morning, the island of Sodor is covered with snow. Thomas talks to Percy about how much letters that he has to deliver. Percy being disappointed given how he doesn't have all that much letters to deliver. Thomas and Percy's drivers tell them that Sir Topham Hatt needs Thomas at the big station, so Percy has to take Thomas's train. Percy is just rolling along until a fogman flags him down, saying that the village has been cut off by snow and they need snowplows and workmen. Percy asks Harold to help, and him and Thomas go off and do the thing. With the collaborative work between Terrence, Thomas, Percy, and Harold, the village is all cleared. Also, Percy doesn't know who Santa Claus is somehow.
What's a Santa Claus? Asked Percy. Santa Claus is someone who drops presents down chimneys at Christmas time.
Percy, if you don't know who Santa Claus is, then how the fuck do you explain seeing this guy in last season's finale? That night, as a gift to the engines for helping them clear the village, the villagers set up a special surprise. And the next morning, it's revealed that they put up a bunch of Christmas decorations at the sheds. Oh my god, Merry Christmas, everyone! Like I said, Halloween starts tomorrow. Wait a minute. This was the season 3 finale. You know what that means? That's right. Welcome back to the Train Count, the segment of the show where after every season, we tally up how many engines are on the island at this point. So at the end of season 2 last year, we added 8 total engines to the railway, making the grand total 15. Now, we weren't introduced to quite as many new engines as we were in season 2, so this is going to be a little lacking, but we were still introduced to some new trains, so let's get things started. Like a clear board so we have room for season 3. Our first new engine was in Gordon and the Famous Visitor, where we're introduced to City of Trero, the engine who famously doesn't have a fucking face and who is actually real. He's technically not one of Sir Topham Hatt's engines, but pickings are slim this season, so I'm gonna go ahead and count him anyway. So that is one new engine for season 3. After that, we get our only diesel engine for the series in the episode Mavis, where we're introduced to Mavis. And she's probably second with Bogo for the nicest diesel engine that we've met so far in the series. She's not evil like Diesel or a bitch like Daisy, who didn't show up at all this season, by the way. It's 3 seasons in and we're already forgetting that characters exist. So we'll add. Then in the episode Tender Engines, we are introduced to the mysterious 2-engined character who, as I recalled, did not have a name in that episode. But here's the thing. He does. Much like City of Truro, this engine is actually a real-life engine who was just put into the Thomas and Friends universe. And he probably doesn't have a face either. This engine is called the Flying Scotsman, yes, like the one from season 1 apparently. And even though we technically didn't see him fully, We did technically see him, and he's an engine, and again, pickings are slim this season, so we're adding him anyway. Fight me on this. And finally, yeah, we only got 4 new engines this season. We got introduced to Oliver in the episode Escape, and Oliver's alright. I will be completely honest, I kind of forgot Oliver existed after all these years. I never had a toy of him, and most of the episodes that I watched didn't feature him, so sorry, dude. But regardless, he is the final engine on the list. So that brings us to a total of 4 new engines for Season 3. Add that with Season 1's 7 and Season 2's 8. That brings us to a grand total of 19 engines on the island of Sodor. Well, technically 2 of them were visitors, so if you subtract that, that's actually 17 new engines. You see why I decided to count the visitors? Well, yeah, not a very impressive number, but trust me, that 19 is going to get way bigger. Like, way fucking bigger. Like Season 4 introduces the narrow age engine, so that's going to be pretty big by the end of Season 4. Yeah, I'm going to do the whole 3 different transitions locations thing like every time we finish the season now, because I think it's fun. So that was Season 3, and it was more of the same. Even though there was a 5-year production gap in between Seasons 2 and 3, and there was a completely different narrator in the UK version of the show, it is still exactly the same as the first 2 seasons. There are still tons of classic episodes with a couple stinkers in there. There are tons of different memorable crashes and scenarios that the characters get into. Because if there's one thing that Thomas and Friends sets itself apart from all the other talking vehicle children's programming out there, it's those crashes, y'all. Like, I honestly believe that if Thomas and Friends didn't have those crashes, we would not be standing here talking about this franchise to this day. So yeah, not a whole lot to say on this one. Season 3 was also a very enjoyable watch. There were quite a few more episodes than usual where I forgot they existed entirely, but the memories all of a sudden came flooding back to me once I actually watched the episode again, which is kind of nice, you know? Overall, Season 3 was an enjoyable time, and I liked watching it. Transition number 4, we're in the woods now. We're also on a hill, so I probably shouldn't be leaning back. And that was SteamTember 2023. Thank you all so much for watching the videos this year. I know it wasn't as fun as last year, given on how a lot of our focus this year has been on Shining Time Station, but we did get to squeeze in some Thomas and Friends at the very end. Plus, it was still fun going over several different pieces of Thomas media that's not just the main show. Plus, if it wasn't for Shining Time Station, many American audiences wouldn't know who the Blue Train guy is. Nowadays, the grand majority of US and UK audiences don't know what Shining Time Station is. But regardless, I would like to thank you guys so much for watching SteamTember's second year, and hopefully you'll be joining us next year. And next year we'll also be off to a bit of a rocky start, because we will be starting things off with an entire season of Shining Time Station. That is all 20 episodes of Shining Time Station Season 2 before we can move on to Thomas and Friends Season 4. Hopefully you guys won't lose interest like you did this year. You're going to lose interest. My phone died, so I had to change locations again. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button and tune into all the other videos that we have on the channel. But until then, I'll see you later. Bye!